This is a video for the Luke 140 Syndicate. Well guys, we took Luke to Chatt Hills to his first 4-star short in some time. It's been a long road to get back to the very top of the sport, but it was definitely worth the wait. Luke was phenomenal in all 3 phases. Chattahoochee Hills is not far from Atlanta Airport, and we arrived, on Thursday morning. Schooled him a little bit on Thursday afternoon, and this is the dressage test on Friday morning. He was the second horse in the field to go, and he was good. He wasn't at his best of the best, but for Luke, he was pretty well behaved. We had a bit of a wild ride very early in the morning when I pre-rode him, but by the time we got to the dressage test here on I think it was about 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, he'd taken a breath and he did quite well. We scored a 30.7. We had 1 late flying change, which gave us a 4. The bulk of the work was very good. It was the 4-star D test. And after the dressage, we were in 3rd place. So obviously Luke is a phenomenal dressage horse, and by saying that, we haven't really done any of these challenging movements in some time. I think Silver rode the 5-star test at Maryland on him in October of last year, and other than that, all the horse trials, we've just been pottering around the preliminary level, getting him fit and really looking after his legs. You can see in the walk here, he was thinking about exploding. I'm sitting as quiet as I can here and almost have my legs just dangling, and he knows that the canter's coming up. This event was an important one for us because it sort of re-qualifies us for our spring goal of competing at the 5-star level. We needed to go around this 4-star short FEI division at Chatt Hills to re-get his qualifications for hopefully Kentucky or maybe Lemoulin. In my heart of hearts, I think Kentucky at the moment seems like a good option. You'll see today in the cross country, Luke was just absolutely fabulous, and Luke will be heading back to Pennsylvania tomorrow morning really early. And the good news with Pennsylvania is we can start getting him on the big long uphill gallops. The good thing with the long uphill gallops is we can get the horse very fit without using too much speed. One of my biggest concerns is making sure that Luke's legs stay healthy. He's not easy on himself. He every day he tries to throw me off. He jumps really high, he spooks, and it's the older he gets, the wilder he's getting. I actually fell off him on Tuesday. We had a cross-country school at Stableview, and when I was just warming up for the flat, he spun around and bucked at the same time, and I felt like a PBR bull rider. Anyway, we were both unscathed, and we ended up getting through the cross-country school okay. Beautiful flying change there. So my main focus this weekend was just to get through it in one piece and re-qualify him. I was very pleased with the dressage. This is to get a 30 at this level with this little preparation. I think by the time we hopefully get to our 5-star competition, we should be aiming for the mid-25s. I think Luke would be very hard he'd be one of the front runners basically after the dressage. For the show jumping, the great news was it was in the afternoon after the dressage, so it was his 3rd ride of the day, and he was actually pretty well behaved. I feel like I've got Luke quite fit. I've just been doing lots of long, slow work on him. I haven't done any speed work on him, but he jumped fantastic. I sent the video to my jumping coach, Peter Wild, and he thinks I could still ride the horse just a little slower in the show jumping. Saying that, I was very pleased with the way he jumped. He jumped a clear round, but he just gets quite keen to the jumps. He sort of sees the jumps and he runs at it a little bit, and I'm trying to stay soft with my hands, but when he's charging in at the jump, sometimes you've got no option but just to pull him back. Anyway, after the show jumping, we moved up to second place. He was clear in the jumps and clear on the time, and so we're in second place going into today's cross country. Great thing with Luke is, even though he's a bit of a maniac and runs at the jump, just before you take off, he gets very careful and always gets his legs out of the way. I was a little bit too fast to the treble there. But he's such a good jumper. He'd be just one of the best jumpers I've had. Careful, scopy, good technique, and he's sort of cat-like as well. So today's cross country was all about getting through it well. He hasn't seen a course like this for some time, not since 23, I think. So it's a bloody big track, and Luke felt like he had never missed a beat. He was flying around the course. I tried to sort of look after his legs a little bit and not go crazy fast. We ended up being about a minute slow. No one in the class got close to the time, so we had 23 time penalties, but that wasn't embarrassingly slow. I sort of just tried to let him coast along between the jumps, and there was a couple muddy areas that I just took it nice and slow. And anyway, it's hard. I'm trying to be really, really cautious with his legs to make sure that his health is our top priority, but at some point we've got to test to see where we're at. The whole way around, Luke was pulling me and running for the jumps, and he loved being back at the 4-star level. We ended up finishing in 8th place. By saying that, we could have, would have, should have. I wasn't too worried about the placing. I think when the time comes at Kentucky or the big 5-star, we're going to cut him loose. But from now until then, I'm sort of just riding him a little bit protective and trying not to let him go too fast. I think the speed and fatigue are the two things that seem to sort of damage their legs. So anyway, Luke, he feels fit. This was the last fence of the course, and you can still see him fighting me all the way to the finish. And all in all, guys, I'm very, very pleased with him. My plan is to get him back to Pennsylvania. We'll give him a couple of easy days, make sure he recovers well, get the vet to check him over, and then still trying to figure out his next event. My gut feeling is Stableview. Stableview is not the ideal course for Luke. It's a bit twisty and the ground's not great, but we don't really have too many other options. But now that he's qualified for Kentucky, we could potentially run him down a level just to look after him. But as you could see there, I'm just cooling him down a bit, and he pulled up nice and sound, and ears were pricked, and very, very pleased to ride him. He's a legend. He's a pain in the ass, and he's wild and out of control, but I love him. He's got an unbelievable talent. He's brave as a lion, and he's just a champion horse. So thank you all for being so patient with him. I feel like if we play our cards right, we have a real chance this year. It's going to take a bit of finessing, but I think he's one of the best horses in the country. So anyway, fingers crossed, and I'll check in with you soon.